Beals, what do you have for us today? Are you finally reviewing the Chimera Ant saga we've waited 6 months for?
No?
So is it the review of the 6th part of Jojo Stone Ocean?
Neither.
Is this the video you promised to prove Yujiro Hama is a better father than Gin Freaks?
Not exactly.
Then a
Video about humiliations in anime? Me, Beals. When will you upload the Ant review? Chimera? Me. Each time you ask, I add another month. Humiliations in anime? You already know what I'm talking about, those moments in a fight or confrontation between two characters that end really badly for one of them. The part where one of them opens the other person's anus so abruptly that it gets to a point where their butthole starts talking, a diameter wide enough to fit a 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola without any problem. That's when you yell at the screen, "Come on, man, leave him alone. He's already dead." That's when you internally debate with yourself whether that fight should really be in an anime or on an adult movie website. Not sure if you get me, but let's see what wild fights we have today. Let's go with a classic among classics when it comes to humiliations. A man who's an expert at acting tough only to get beaten up and have his spine almost broken just 5 minutes later. Vegeta. Even though he's not one of my absolute favorites, Vegeta is a character I like. Just like most fans of the franchise, although it seems that his creator doesn't share that same fondness with the fandom. He has personally made sure to let us know every time he's had the chance. And not just him. Even in the Dragon Ball OVAs in which Toriyama doesn't actively participate, Vegeta has been brutally analyzed. At one point, there were rumors that Toriyama actually said he didn't like Vegeta and that he created him based on everything he dislikes in a person. Remember, this kind of information should be taken with a grain of salt. With this character, we have plenty of options. I definitely pick Vegeta Daisen Dankai or Super Vegeta for the fight against Perfect Cell. I thought about having Freezer face Vegeta because of the I am the legendary Super Saiyan scene. Legendary beating you took, bro. But in that case, the humiliation didn't seem so pathetic to me, since we can all empathize a little with Vegeta. He was facing a guy who ruined his life. It was normal that he couldn't wait even a second longer to try to get revenge. He clung to the idea that he was the legendary Super Saiyan. Thanks to the comments his father made about him having a great chance of being the legendary Super Saiyan. But what happened with Cell is unforgivable. Was what happened back then really pure and raw poetic justice? Vegeta had the chance to defeat him easily, but no. He had already surpassed that level, and it was impossible for him to lose. Oh, poor fool. What bothered me the most was that he didn't listen to Trunks. The poor guy was begging him not to let Cell reach his perfect form, but he didn't listen. I'm the strongest, smartest, and dating a scientist. To the point that Trunks even attacked him directly. This poor guy comes from a future so horrible that Vegeta can't even imagine it. To me, he got what he deserved. An extreme, humiliating, and satisfying beating. Cell was so intent on humiliating him that it was clear he enjoyed every second. Because in the fight he had shortly after with Trunks, he completely changed his way of fighting. He even let Trunks leave without any serious injuries. Cell is quite the gentleman. This humiliation is anime history. And to top it all off, after all that, taking such a beating, and that your own son has to take care of the situation in your place, which is pretty pathetic if you ask me. That bald Grillin touches his butt while rescuing him. It's horrible.
It really is.
Now let's discuss a Naruto humiliation that I find surprisingly under-recognized. This one hurts me personally as it's a humiliation to one of my favorite anime characters, Madara Uchiha. Madara is like that guy who's always an absolute top 2, and that fills him with frustration. Because even though he's extremely strong, and everyone knows it and fears him, that's why there's always that insanely strong son of a bitch who basically bullies and tames him. Hashirama was an unstoppable force who shattered all power scales in his era. Let's give some context. Hashirama and Madara were the strongest and second strongest of their era. They fought several times and seemed evenly matched, with Hashirama winning by a narrow margin. So Madara came up with a plan that basically consisted of forcing, through a Genjutsu, the most powerful Biju of all, excluding the Ten Tails, of course, to fight alongside him. With Kurama, an enormous, inexhaustible tank of chakra and a truly devastating monster on his side, there was no chance of failure. They were going to do a 2-on-1 against Hashirama, and not even the Senju monster could stand up to that. The This all sounded great in Madara's head, but in practice, it didn't go so well for him. Basically, the summary was, Hashirama, I've joined forces with the Kyuubi, and now I'm finally going to defeat you. And Hashirama was like, sorry, I don't think that's gonna happen. And Hashirama beat them both up. You know, this reminded me of the typical school fight where someone beats you up, and then you run to get your best friend to beat them up. You two against him? 2 against 1. And instead of losing because he's outnumbered, the guy beats both of you up? Ah, childhood. Want another humiliating fact? Listen, here's an important detail about the weird stuff and the legacy of Ashura and Indra, and blah, 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 blah. The thing is, just like Ashura, his reincarnation should start off being pretty weak, like Naruto, a diamond in the rough that needed time to shine, while Indra was always infinitely talented, just like we can see in his reincarnation, Sasuke. With Hashirama and Madara, this either doesn't happen or happens differently. Madara was talented, but Hashirama, my god, Hashirama, he's why I call him Naruto's frustrator. That guy was incredible. Poor Madara. It wasn't his fault. The real issue was being in the admin's generation. Olega.
You just have to handle everything.
Yes, I am ours. I will not protect my people. I've spent quite a while debating with myself about who would get the last spot on the list. First, I thought about the fight between Scanor and Starossa, but meh, too predictable. I remembered the beating Jack Hama gave Muhammad Ali Jr., but since I'm making a video about Jack Hama, I'll save it for later. Therefore, since I can't go a single day without sucking dicks, let's go with a humiliation from the anime known as The Bizarre Adventure of Jose. We can choose from many examples, since in the world of Jojo, we have characters like Jotaro, who, to sum up, dedicate themselves to humiliating others. The experience of fighting against Jotaro is basically him rubbing his huge teenage dick in your face. Oh dear god, that sounds so bad, doesn't it? I already discussed Jotaro in my last video, check it out. Stealthy self-promo. Beals Turbo Stonker. Today we're going to talk about my favorite humiliation in JoJo. Her against Kim Crimson. Or in other words, Gold Experience Requiem versus Diavolo. What can I say in this case? What could be more humiliating in this world than being destroyed as a mafia boss? A 15-year-old and it's just the same story again? Diavolo was always bragging about Stan. Oh yeah, my Stan manipulates time. I'm going to take over the world. Isn't it like literally the last 2 villains in this manga had similar powers and they still got beaten anyway? How original I am. The thing is, he had the bad luck of running into not only a direct descendant of the Joestar family, but specifically the one who carried the DNA of a guy named Dio, but without the S. The result? Nothing special. He just got the most powerful stand that exists, which put Diavolo into a loop. An eternal torture. Just an everyday thing, really. Imagine how humiliating it is that even a little girl scares you, since you know that in that loop, anything can kill you for the rest of eternity, constantly. Her power is disturbing, to say the least. Diavolo didn't stand a chance because there wasn't one. It was as easy as taking candy from a baby, and that's because her is so high on the power scale that it seems like she shouldn't be that strong. In JoJo, Giorno is terrifying. F for Diavolo. Maybe it was your time, King, but you get it. Right? Ole, no. Ole, I don't even get close. Not even with a girl, not me.